What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Kirby Mass Attack. Last time, we completed stages 7, 8, and 9 of Green Grounds, and this time, we are going to do stages 10 and the boss of Green Grounds. So, let's go ahead and get into it. For stage 10, you need 9 Kirbys at minimum, and this is actually our first example of a water stage. This bubble is just going to tell you how to swim, but I'll tell you. What you need to do is, just like running, you need to tap in order to move the Kirbys where you want them to go. Basically, it's just like moving them through regular stages, except they have full movement up and down, being able to swim, and they have an air gauge. And the air gauge is dependent on how many Kirbys you have. So you get one section per each Kirby you have. So right now, since I have 10 Kirbys, I have 10 sections of air. And you want to have as many sections of air as possible, because if you run out of air, your Kirbys instantly die. For some reason, all of these games, well, not for some reason. It makes perfect sense that it's like, oh, if you drown, you will die. But my first thought is like, oh, it's like Sonic, where at like the last second you can have like 10 seconds, and it's just like, oh, if you get an air bubble, you just survive somehow. And right now we are just going through some waterfalls, and if you let your Kirbys go, they will actually just be pushed down these waterfalls, unlike these regular sections where they are just floating. And we have a new enemy here. This is called a Squidster, or a Squidster. These things are like torpedoes in the water and are actually kind of easy to defeat. You just have to avoid them, which apparently I'm not very good at. You just avoid them, let them run into a wall, and then you just swarm them, and they're basically taken out very easily. And now we are chasing after a little fish. We just need to maneuver our way through here, and we need to hit this button, because if we can push this button all the way down, it'll create a bunch of green apples, which act almost exactly the same as red apples, except for one small detail. They will always open something special up. In this case, we get a big Kirby candy. And if we take this big Kirby candy, massive Kirbys. Big Kirbys in the water are invincible, have no air limit, so they are very good in the water. Like the regular stages, they can break through regular blocks and everything, or metal blocks and everything, and they are just very good to have. And you saw that is how we get our rainbow medal for this stage. So we just need to go through this door, and right here is our skip point, but I don't think we'll actually need it for this section. Also, you can see this crack in the ground. That will supply air basically indefinitely while we're doing this puzzle. And I'll put puzzle in very heavy quotations, because it's push the block to the right and then push the block to the left. Gotta love these puzzles? What's a pubble? These puzzles in a Kirby game. Just push the block. And I want to get at least a little bit extra air, because now we just need to swim down, and if we actually swim past this door, that is our second medal in that cracked wall right there. And now we lead into one of my least favorite enemies in this game. If we open this shell right here, if I can throw downwards. Oh wait, it's not that shell. Is it this shell? It's one of these shells. Oh, there's a door. Before we go through that door, I actually want to open up this one. Not that one? Okay. I'm gonna go through the door then. Inside this door is a bunch of fruit. And actually, it looks like our first example of a Gordo. which is an indestructible enemy that is just here to cause you damage. And once you collect all the fruit, you can go back through the door. And one of these has the enemy. I just forget which one. That is another door, I think. And if I open this one, that is our third medal in that clam. And then we want to go through this door. And this door has what is called a jelly frizz. A big jelly frizz, to be exact. These ones you actually have to throw Kirby's at to cause them damage. You cannot grab them. But once they explode after you throw so many Kirby's at them, these smaller ones are able to be grabbed. And once you defeat them, I believe the door opens. But before you go through the door, make sure you hit this middle clam, because that is our fourth medal. And now we just want to go through this door. And I could have sworn that his enemy was somewhere, but I'm gonna break this first to show that there's another door right there. And is it this one? Alright, it's making a fool of me. There it is! That enemy is one of my least favorite enemies. That is called a Shellmick, because it mimics a shell and is basically sucks in the Kirby's, and if the Kirby's get into its mouth, they just die. But I want to go through this door. Also, to take out the Shellmick, you just have to hit the shell 3 times, and it destroys the Shellmick inside. I don't know if you actually get any fruit for it, but it does give you extra points if that's something you care about. And now we're just doing a button puzzle, and this should give us access to a key. And this key, similarly to the one we got last episode, is a very hard one to defend, and I will show you why in approximately 30 seconds. Once we go through this door, we will be met with our mini-boss of the chapter. This thing is called a turtle tummy. And what you gotta do is, it's asleep when you find it, and they're always asleep when you find them, by the way. All you have to do is throw a Kirby at its stomach, and it wakes up. And that's your main method of damage, is throwing Kirby's at this thing's stomach. It'll try to blow you away. It's not super good at it, and after so many Kirby's, it will take damage and become stronger. But its main method of attack is throwing the squid, is throwing basically electrified squidsters at you. But once you avoid enough of them, it gets tired, and you can just throw more Kirby's at it for free, basically. And once it starts pushing you away, it will start throwing air bubbles at you as well. And the reason this key is so hard to defend is because if you are hit by one of these jellies, or not jellies, these squidders, you will lose the key. And you have to do this whole mini-boss without losing the key. Luckily, that was not the Kirby holding the key that was damaged. But after 3 cycles, the turtle tummy explodes into air bubbles, and you can fully refresh your air and go through the door. And the reason you need to keep the key all the way through here is for this giant clam, which I like to go into this corner and just start throwing at it, because you need to hit it so many times in a row for it to actually open. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult to actually get it to open. There we go. And once it's open, you will see that there's a treasure chest inside, and within the treasure chest is our 5th medal. And once we swim this way, we can just break this block heading to our exit. If I can throw upwards. Throwing Kirby's in the water is somewhat difficult because you have to be very precise with it, or they just start swimming. But we break that block, make a geyser, and for some reason the geyser has a mind where it holds the door for a couple seconds and then chucks it. it's always been weird to me seeing that. It's just like, I don't want this door anymore. Get out of here. But that is all the medals in stage 10. So now we just have the boss. So let's go ahead and get into it. And for this boss, and basically every boss in the game except for one, I think, requires 10 Kirbys to get inside. And this right here is Whispy Woods. It's a little bit different than most Whispy Woods in Kirby games. For one, it doesn't drop apples like normal. Normally, Whispy Woods drops apples as its main method of attacking. This one drops spike balls. And the different colored ones, like this green one, do different things. So the green one bounces when it hits the ground, and the red ones break upon impact. And you will see as we fight Whispy Woods, on the top screen you will see the spike balls that it is creating. And all we have to do is break its sections, and it will fall down. Its sections will do one of two things normally. It will either create a bunch of mushrooms that will bounce you off if you hit them, or it will create spikes that will hurt the Kirbys upon throwing them at it. Also, for the other color of spike ball, you have the red spike balls, which will break upon impact with the ground. And Whispy Woods is kind of like the Wiki Woods, where they will blow the Kirbys away if it stays in this form for too long. But once we destroy the Whispy Woods, we get access to quote-unquote level 2. I'm just gonna call them worlds because I don't like that Kirby games call them levels. And we have this warp star that we just need to attach to, and I find it funny every time that they just have like a tail of Kirbys that's all holding on to it. And since only one of our Kirbys got hurt, we have a silver star for this. And that is green grounds completely cleared. The Kirbys flew towards another island on the warp star. The warp star was wobbly with so many Kirbys riding it. Suddenly, Skullies appeared behind the warp star. They were from Necodia's Skull Gang, and they were patrolling the islands. The Skullies chased after the Kirbys and pulled them off the warp star until there was only one left. Kirby flew towards the next island as fast as he could, leaving the Skullies behind. But the Skull Gang was on patrol, so Kirby was sure that he'll cross paths with them soon enough. And with that, we have gained access to World 2, the Sandy Canyon. But it looks like Dag Roach has something to say to us. Traveling to another island is dangerous when it's patrolled by Skullies. Keep that in mind before you decide to go to any island that's crawling with those dark fiends. Yeah, so basically, whenever you warp to another island, it forces you back down to one Kirby, so you have to build your Kirbys up every time you go to a different island. But now that we are in the Sandy Canyon, I think we're going to call this an episode. So, I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we start the Sandy Canyon, but until then, happy adventuring!